Hi everybody. This video is going to show you the requirements for the HTML part of your project. So you have a project that's coming due very soon. So I want to show you what's necessary in the HTML to get full credit for the HTML part, and I'm going to do a separate little video for the CSS. All right? So one of the things I'm going to be looking at is that your HTML page has this main structure in it. It's your first page. So we want to make sure that it has everything that's required. This is the main structure of the page. If I actually save this, it would show me absolutely nothing. But you can't really have an HTML page without having an HTML tag that opens at the beginning and closes at the end. You need a head section that is fully embedded within the HTML tag, and you need a separate body section. So the head section opens and closes before the body opens and closes. All right, so these two are nested within the HTML tags, but not nested within each other. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to be looking for is that you have a title. Your title does not appear on the page, but instead it appears in the tabs, like these tabs up here. They all have words on them. If you don't have this title, nothing will appear on your tab up there. All right, so you want to make sure that you have a title that's going to appear in the tab when somebody opens it in a browser. All right, inside the body section is where most things are going to happen. One of the things that you need is different headings. So your main heading is going to actually serve as like the title on the page. It will be that first thing that you see. So usually that's an H1 heading because of the size that it's going to be. And you can call it pretty much anything you want. You can call it the same as your title if you want, or pretty much anything else that fits the theme of your page, which is an About Me page. Maybe welcome to my About Me page. And you have to have that H1 opened and closed properly. I'll be looking for that somewhere at the beginning, right under your body tag. All right, so far there's no formatting. I will show you what that looks like when I open it up. Okay, so to save this and to show you what it looks like, I'm calling it mr_suttonaboutme.html. I'm putting it in my exemplars folder, making sure that it's not going to add a .txt onto it. This is on a Mac. You don't have to do that on a PC. And once that's all set up properly and my settings and text editor proper, I could just press save. If you don't know how to do the settings on a Mac, there's another video I already created for that. All right, so you can watch that video. All right, let's see what that looks like. And that's what we'll see so far. When we open it up in a browser, it just says welcome to my About Me page. All right. Okay, another thing I required in your HTML is something decorative like a horizontal rule. So you're just going to put in HR, and that will give you that decorative element. When we save it and refresh our page, that horizontal rule is going to appear under the heading if that's where you put it. I usually put one above the citation part as well, but it's not necessary. You can use decorative things like horizontal rules as you need them. You just need to have it in there formatted correctly. One of a few more HTML requirements is that you have an image someplace. So perhaps below the horizontal rule, you're going to put in img space src, so that's image is the tag, src is the source, is the attribute, equals, you need an equal sign, and then quotes, and then you need the name of the image. Now, inside the folder, my exemplars folder, I only have one image, so I'm going to put that in for now. It says Havens Soft Pastel, and it's a JPEG picture. So I'm going to go Havens Soft Pastel.jpg and end the quotes and close the tag. Notice the HR tag didn't need to be closed, and by closing the tag here, I just meant I'm going to put the ending, the greater than sign at the end, right? Some people do close image tags, and it goes something like this. It's completely unnecessary in my view, but if you feel the need to do it, you're opening and closing it in the same tag. So let's save that, Control S, and let's take a look and see how that loads when we hit refresh. So I was having a little trouble getting the picture to appear when I clicked refresh. Even after I'd saved it, nothing happened. So you can see when I click refresh, I'm not even seeing an empty spot where the picture could go. So I was trying to figure out what I did wrong, and if I'm looking here very carefully, it should be SRC for source, not SCR. So now if I save it and refresh, now we should see the picture. And there it is. All right. Again, no formatting in your HTML. I want to see your formatting happen in the CSS. So when we get to the second video, we can resize pictures and locate them and so on and so forth. So you're going to use the P tag for your paragraphs, and you can end your paragraph with the close P tag. That's one that some people say you don't need, and because if I just started another P tag, it's going to put a double space and in between the two, so it'll make another paragraph. I think when it becomes a problem that you didn't close it is mostly when you have things in between your paragraphs. So I usually close it as a matter of practice, and the content of the paragraphs are going to go in between there. So let me just add some content, and it could just be some gibberish content for me right now, but you have to actually use real content about yourself. Alright, so you can see starting with the P tag over here and ending with the close P here, I have 3 separate paragraphs. So I'm going to save, I'm going to click on here and save that, Control S, and when I refresh, they should appear under the picture. Alright, now these paragraphs are kind of small, and linking to them will be a little bit difficult, but so I expect something a little more filled out than those short paragraphs that I have there. Alright, use your judgment as to how much you need. If you are linking externally when you do your hyperlink to another page, then I'm not so concerned about how much content you put in here. But if you're making a table of contents that you can click on, let's say these are 3 separate paragraphs that you want to link to separately, then I would need these to be much more significant so that when you click on them, the page actually moves to link. Okay, so you can use pretty much anything for your hypertext link. I am going to make the picture a hypertext link. So I'm going to add the A tag and an href, href attribute equals. I'm going to link that to my R.A. Sutton Studios Facebook page, which is where I keep most of my sort of art portfolio. I have several art portfolios that I keep. That is one of them. And I'm going to close the A tag around it. So what I have now is when I save this and refresh, that picture should link to that Facebook page. So let's refresh that, and the picture should now be a hypertext link. And you see when I hover over it, it is. I switch from having an arrow to a hand with a finger pointing, and when I click on it, it will bring you to my art page. A lot of my artwork is there and has been collected there over the years. I'm going to add another quick hyperlink to my teacher page, as long as I'm linking to my Facebook pages. So right here where it says I teach media arts and gaming design at JFK High School, I just want to use the word teach. And I'm going to make ahref equals and end the quotes and end that tag, and then on the other side of the word teach, I'm going to close the A. And Command S to save, or Control S to save. And when I refresh that now, you'll see when I come down to here, the word teach is turned blue and underlined. And when I click on that, it is now linking to my teacher page. All right, those 2 links, the one thing that they're missing is that they both open up and take me away from my page. I asked you to not link in that way. You don't want people having to scroll back to try and find your page again. So to have it opened in a new tab requires another attribute, right? So let's go with the tag up here, and I'm going to go target equals underscore and blank and close that with an end quote. Now when I click this, it should open up in a new tab, which it did. All right, so now I have this here and this here. So adding that target equals quote underscore blank end quote and close the tag will make it open up in a new page. All right, these are all requirements. Okay, I do believe that I asked for different size headings. So my main heading is an H1 up here. I put in 2 subheadings, one over here before the 3 paragraphs that says what I do, and one down here that says some of my favorite things. I'm going to put in my favorite things after that heading, but now I should have two separate headings, this one being the largest one, and these two headings being subheadings, smaller headings. Let's see what that looks like when I save and refresh my page. Control S, and so now I have the main heading here, I have a subheading here and a subheading here. Alright, so that fulfills another requirement that I have different size headings. Alright, so I added an even smaller heading called My Favorite Artists, and under that I'm going to start a list. You're required to either have a list or a table. You don't have to have both. If you want to, that's fine. Have more than one. So I'm going to do a My Favorite Artists list, and I'm doing it as an unordered list, means it's going to be bullets, right? So UL is to open it up, LI is for each item. So let's say I'm going to start with my favorite being Chuck. Close. You don't need to close LIs, because by adding the next thing in the list, it already knows to cut that off. I'm going to finish this list and come back so you don't have to watch me torture over spell. Okay, so I completed my list. I just added a few of my favorite artists. I think there are 8 there. So I've got a UL to open it, LI for all the items, and a close UL at the end. So after that, I'm just going to put another horizontal rule, then a cite tag, and I'm going to say this page was created by Mr. Sutton, and then the copyright symbol. Remember, you have to have one entity. Copyright symbol is the only one we know so far, so it's ampersand copy semicolon and 2021 and close the citation. And if you have all of these things, you've gotten 100% for your HTML part. Alright, so let's see what that looks like. We're going to save it, Control S. There is no formatting yet, so that will be the other thing you're going to be judged on. So let's see what this looks like when it's refreshed. So what do I have? I have a main heading. I have 2 subheadings, H2 and H2 over here. I have a third size heading for my list, so that's an H3 heading. I have 3 paragraphs, and I have the list, and finally I have the citation at the bottom with an entity, my copyright symbol. I have 2 hypertext links. You only need one. I have one here where it says teach, and it opens up to a separate page, so I could just click the tabs now and get back to my page. And the picture is also a hypertext link, which opens to a separate page. So that's pretty much all the HTML required for this. So if you've got all of these things included, assuming they're formatted correctly, of course, score 100% on the HTML part of your design. All right. The more artistic part is the CSS, and we'll be talking about that in another